This is the saddest moment of this video. If you were not a mechanic, would you buy this car with 200,000 miles with all the gremlins that he had on it? I'm on my way to J&M Automobile Mechanic to pick up my car after I dropped it off nearly 10 months ago. I have not driven the vehicle in almost a year, and I gotta go pick it up along with the bill. So at the end of this video, you will find out if buying a high mileage Lexus is worth the money. I'm gonna go to the mechanic, his name is George, and he's gonna walk me through everything he did, and I'm gonna ask him, will you buy this vehicle if you were not a mechanic? Because I bought it for $4,000, but I gave him an open range to fix everything that he needed to fix on that vehicle to make it drive as reliable as possible. I actually told him, go over this car as if it's gonna be a car for your daughter. He did a lot of things that may or may not have been needed immediately, but that eventually were gonna create problems if I didn't address them properly, because it is a high mileage vehicle. And one of the things that made me go for a vehicle like that is actually my experience that I've had with this beautiful 2003 Lexus RX300. Look, the dashboard doesn't have any warning lights, and that's not the case with the RX300 because that one had all kinds of lights. It looked like a Christmas tree on the dashboard. And so I thought, hey, maybe I can just take it straight to the mechanic, make the lights go away, and drive on, because the powertrain, I believed at the time, seemed pretty healthy. So I figured all I had to do is address these little issues and drive on. Well, it hasn't been the case. George, how are you?
Very good. How's everything?
Good, good. How long has it been, man?
Oh, quite a while.
What do you say? Maybe 9 months, 10 months?
Someone around there. Yeah.
Okay, well, that shouldn't be a reflection of your shop, because I had a very particular situation. I went on vacation, I changed jobs. I didn't give you particular instructions of what to do with the car. I just dropped it off. And then we started trying to sort it out, right?
Right.
And I did tell him, fix everything on it as if it was going to be your daughter's first car. You want to tell me what you did to the car?
As you see, we just starting last time we talked about it. It was the battery drainage, right? So the battery drainage, we went to pinpoint the problem. We look inside the car, different points like fuse box, the CD, and the radio, it was flushing. So we're looking with point by point, and then we find out the battery was the problem. So internally, the battery, it wasn't holding the charge. And then after that, we just find out the timing belt, it wasn't done in this vehicle. So we went to it, get it done. And then third times, then we look for checking the spring, checking brakes. We go step by step in the vehicle. So we end up changing brakes, because the brakes, it was really bad on it. So we put brakes and rotors. We continue doing the transmission flies, differential.
Because it's front-wheel drive, right? So it's
Yeah,
got a rear differential as well.
the rear differential has to be serviced.
Right.
So, because if it was just a front-wheel drive, we just got to do a transmission service on. But this one particularly, you have to check the rear differential because it has too many miles already. So you don't know if this one has been serviced before or not.
Right.
So, and then we did a thermostat, gasket, water pump, timing belt. Another problem that you have in this vehicle was ABS, light, it was on. We find out that one of the sensors, they call the angle sensor, it wasn't working properly, so then it turns the BSC light on. And the BAC, it was not correcting by programming, and we did it twice. It doesn't work with different scanners. We used 3 different scanners. It won't work, so we ordered a part from the dealer, but it was obsolete. Then we order one. It was a good use from the wrecking yard. So when we order it, we put it on, we calibrate the sensor, we program it, and the light was off.
So the light is off now.
That was the BSC light, and it was the ABS.
So is there...
But you still have a airbag light. you have two airbags. They have the driver's side, the passenger side. So the passenger side has a front sensor too. Then this sensor is give me a code, but we're not being able to erase it.
The reason why I bring this up is because Jorge went through the car, like I said, with the mindset that we're going to make it as perfect as possible. But we did start with a very high mileage car. And this notion that it may be a bulletproof vehicle just because it's a Toyota or Lexus, in reality, these cars are old. I asked him if it was worth the effort to try to fix that. And he said, it all depends what you want to do with the vehicle. And what I want to do to the vehicle is drive it a lot. So if this light is fixable or not fixable, I think we went as far as we can mechanically, and the car should still be reliable enough to drive, right? But like Jorge told me off camera, you still have an old car. So much that when I try to insure the vehicle, the drop down for the years only goes down to 2006. Although I have the other 2003 Lexus that is insured with the same company, but just to tell you how obsolete these cars start becoming. He ran into an issue where he tried to source a part from the dealership, no longer available. So you have to go and dig into the used parts market. The support is great because they made millions of these vehicles, but again, all these parts are old. This is the saddest moment of this video. I have to go get more money. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna fire it up for the first time in a long time. See? Perfect. Just open the hood. New battery. We looked for records. He couldn't find any record that the timing belt had been replaced. So he changed that. Knowing what you know about this car, if you were not a mechanic, would you buy this car with 200,000 miles with all the gremlins that he had on it?
I will definitely buy it because there are certain cars you can buy with the high mileage. You know, even if they're 300,000 miles, you will buy it.
It's still worth the investment.
It's worth the investment. So, but there are some of them, they're not really a good investment because if it's already a very, very big trouble like engines, catalytic converters, transmissions, those are the biggest issues and it costs you a fortune to have them fixed.
I wanted to bring this Lexus to that status. For that, I will need to maybe replace the headlights and maybe give it a Mako paint job. Would you invest more money in making it look pretty? Would you just drive it like this?
I would drive it like that.
You don't think it's worth the investment?
I would not put more money because if I invest more money, just in case of I have a car accident, I will not recover my money back.
Thank you for what you did for this car. Now I know that I can drive, me and my wife can drive this car for maybe another 100,000 miles with proper care. We're moving on to this vehicle because this vehicle needs the oil pan gasket replaced. So I'm gonna drop it off here. I also want you to do like a full inspection on it, see what else it needs. But that's the pressing matter right now is the leak on the oil pan.
The oil leak.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no affiliation with this shop. He's just a good friend. And the reason why I drive this far from San Diego is about 80 miles from my house is because he's done a lot of work for a lot of my friends. And he always looks out for the best interest of the customer. He's got plenty of cars in there. He's working on a lot. And I'm just grateful that he took the time and the space in his shop to take care of my car. Thank you, Jorge.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Any words for the customers?
Well, if you want to get done your car right, just come to us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.